All right, this is Diesablo, mixture of diesel and Diablo. That's how I got its name. Started life as a 1956 Dodge four-door car that I cut and shortened down and made into a roadster, no doors. So if you're really fat, you want to put the air ride down. It does have a full 2x4 mild steel frame, quarter-inch wall thickness on the tubing. And I did that because the Cummins diesels are about 400 pounds heavier than cast iron headed big block Chevy. So if you're going to build a frame to hold a Cummins, you better build it pretty thick. Most people just use 2x3 by 1/8 inch wall. I tried to keep everything on this car Dodge, just for Dodge's sake. You know, I could have put anything else in it. It does have a big ass exhaust coming out the back of it right there. And believe it or not, that does say Diesablo, I think. Well, that's what it's supposed to. Stainless steel fuel cell on top. It does have a safety valve underneath there to shut it off. The interior, that I kept the same dash out of it, the 1956 B&M shifter. Here's the interior right here. Just a couple bucket seats, some 12-inch subs, and some 6x9s back there. Underneath this cover right here, there's a plug-in for your iPhone. There's a Alpine 5-channel amp or something in there. All the gauges are mechanical. Even the air ride paddles are mechanical. Couple things, I never did make a cover for the fuse panel, so that needs to be made. Another blim why I'm pointing it out is around the roll bar. I knew this wouldn't last, but I did it anyway. I bondoed around it, and which should have never been done. I knew it'd pop, but I initially thought that when I built the car I was going to put some kind of billet aluminum things going around there. Just real regular. It's got tilt steering. These two switches here are for the overdrive and lockup converter. That is a backup camera that is mounted on top of the fuel cell because you cannot see behind you. So it does have a color backup camera on there. The engine, the transmission, and the rear end are all out of a 98 Dodge 1-ton. You look at the side, you can't even really tell that the back's an 8 lug and the front's only 6 lug. Most people never even pick up on that. So yeah, it's got a big 8 lug rear end. Who fuck cares? It's built, this thing is really built to drive. You know, it will bring a ton of people in when you're showing it. If that's your thing. That's not my thing. I build them and then I beat the shit out of them, and then in this certain circumstance I just don't drive it. You know, I got a whole shop over there full of hot rods. There's like 7 of them total. I'm gonna go ahead and dump the air ride out of this thing. It is on paddles. The reason why I on it is because being a topless car, I get caught out in the rain, and I've been caught in the rain twice with it. And all the gauges and all the paddles and all that stuff being mechanical, you just don't have the chance for failure like you do if everything was electronic on this car. Anybody who knows the Cummins engines know that this is a fully mechanical 12 valve with a P pump, which is a good pump. There's 2 pumps, a V and a P, and this has got the P. Back here, the rear suspension, I'll kind of go through all this. There's a little cover right here. Pull that off. There's the fuel shut off. So if you want to store it or whatever, you can't really see too much of suspension in here, but it's a reverse triangulated 4-link suspension. Basically just a triangulated 4-link. I mounted it backwards. Honestly, I had no idea if that was going to ride worth the shit or not. It ended up being epic. This car can do 70 mile an hour down the road, and it just freaking glides. It does not have sway bars on it. It does have provisions for sway bar in the front. I just never put them on. I probably would maybe in the future. It does have manual steering and manual brakes on it too. So when you come up to a stop sign, you know, a lot of times I'll throw it in neutral, because that engine's got so much freaking torque to it that it'll just push its way around, and it just makes braking a little bit easier on it. It is a 2-foot car, so when you drive it, you got 1 foot for the brake, 1 foot for the gas, because even when I did this body, I tried to keep as much ergonomics as possible, because if you can't drive, it ain't worth the shit. But underneath there's a gas pedal, brake pedal. Once you drive it the first time, you just get used to it. It's a right foot on the gas, left foot on the brake. I'm trying to think what else to say about it. Everything is just pretty simple. There's no chrome on this car. It does what it needs to do without having any chrome on it, and besides the fuel cell in the back being polished stainless steel. But the only reason why I'm even selling it or considering selling it, it just sits in the shop. I don't mind looking at it, but I do enjoy my stuff being out there getting driven. This isn't my first hot rod. I built 20 or 30 of them. I got them all over the place. This is a jump in it, beat on it, and enjoy it car. If you just want to sit around and look around and rub wieners with your buddies, and don't buy it, you know, go buy something else. Go buy a fucking Corvette or something. That's not what this is for. It will roll coal. I've got the fuel turned down again. I turned it all the way up. One of the bad things about turning the fuel up on this thing, this whole entire black, unless you like cleaning a car every time you fucking take it out, you're not going to want to crank the fuel up any higher. It does not have an intercooler on it. It pushes about 25 pounds of boost with the fuel plate slid up on it. There's stock injector, stock turbo. It's just, man, it's just a torque monster. The battery's down there. It's got electric cooling fan on it. It has no problems running temperature. Matter of fact, half the time I never even hear the cooling fan turn on. All the gauges, it runs when it's warmed up, I think it runs around 50 pounds of oil pressure. It does turn 14 volts. Temperature usually runs around the 180 mark, if anything. There's airbag suspension setup. I got set up really nice, so it runs about 20 pounds of air in the back and about 80 in the front, and that's pretty good with how heavy that engine is. But there's no other stuff up there to add weight to it. But I can't really think of anything else to say. It's a pretty cool car. I love it. It does have a bunch of little chips, you know, around the tires, and it's gonna get even more because this thing throws rocks like an angry 2-year-old when you're going down the road. So it's, you know, if you can stay off the gravel, it's fun. But whatever, it's meant to beat the shit out of it, and that's what I do with all my stuff. But if it sells, it sells. If it don't. I really don't care. If you get on rottedall.com, which is what's on the bottom right here on the door, I own that website, and that's where I post everything on there. Like, there is nothing to hide with this car. You can literally go right on there and see every step from the moment I brought the 4-door home to where it is right now, and see this thing get built. There's nothing to hide. You can see the whole frame get constructed, everything I've done to it. A lot of people, you know, they don't show you all that stuff that they do to it, but that's kind of why I started Rot It All, was just to document everything that I do. But the car gets a ton of looks. It's an awesome car. It's got scratches. It's got, you know, some little shit that needs to be done, like around these roll bars. I'd probably make like a piece of billet aluminum to go around there. It definitely needs a fuse box cover because it looks gaudy as shit. That's the subwoofers behind there, and the 6x9s are fiberglassed in. I don't know if you can see them. The seats are not bolted in, and I thought that was going to be a problem, but it's not, because they're held so tight in. There is no seat belts. It does have some badass shag carpeting. Oh yeah, there's the air compressor. It's got a Puma 12-volt air compressor with a little hot dog tank. Has no problems doing the suspension. I've run about 8 or 9 of those compressors on my air ride systems. I try to keep my air ride systems really simple. When you start buying all the digital shit and valves and solenoids, I mean, that stuff goes bad. I wanted a car that was not going to go bad. The grill is a hand fabricated grill. I never intended for this grill to stay on this car. I just kind of threw it together. It's, you know, it's not exactly, it's got a little bit of a, I don't think it's perfectly straight for some reason. I think it's a little off, but I don't know, whatever. But it just ended up staying with the car. I got so many cars, I just never came back and built another grill for it. It does a trick. It's been in diesel world. No one seems to care. So here it is, a walk around. Oh, I'll fire it up real quick and then kind of give you a little sound of what it sounds like here. This car is loud loud as hell when you're driving it. I'm deaf in one ear, and it's about to make me deaf in the other ear. But it's what it is. It's a Cummins. I've never seen a quiet one yet. But everything runs pretty good. Once it gets warmed up. Oh, the custom headlights. I'm the only one ever to have these headlights. You'll never find another set anywhere else. I do not let them out to people. So this set that's on here is pretty much the only set you're going to get. So don't lose one or break one. I did fins because the car's got fins and it matches it. I can't think of what else to say about it. It is what it is. Happy bidding. If it goes up high enough, it'll be someone else's. If not, I'll throw it back in the shop with the other ones and enjoy it. So this is Rabbit at rottedall.com. Check it out on Facebook for more details.